page 436. 436. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وبعد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبعد. We'll start today inshallah the chapter of At-Talaq, divorce. He says, we demonstrated previously that Islam is very keen upon preserving, safeguarding and protecting married life. We have seen the measures that have been offered to solve marital disputes that can arise, regardless if the cause be one or both of the spouses. However, those measures may turn out to be unsuccessful, especially if the differences of opinion have become rooted and the disputes strong. In such cases, a stronger measure must be resorted to. This is divorce. He's basically saying sometimes you try and you try and you try and you try, but it doesn't work out. Things just don't become right. And what was there is gone. The love which was there is gone. The mercy they had for each other is there, but it's shaky. There is no more harmony in the married life, and there's no other way. There's no other way. So now a stronger measure is resorted to, that is divorce. It is the solution which is best in this situation now. He says, when one studies the laws of divorce, one once again finds Islam's keenness on trying to maintain the institution of the family and its desire to keep the two partners together. If you see the way the divorce laws are set in Islam, it just reiterates the fact and re-emphasizes the fact how Islam is so keen in protecting the family and maintaining the institution of the family. This can be seen by the fact that although Islam allows divorce, it does not make it all at once. Even though Islam says there is divorce, there's no other way, okay, then there's divorce now. At the same time, Islam does not say once you're divorced, that's it. No. And Islam says there's 3 divorces. You cannot do 3 of them at once, such that the relationships are immediately cut off between the spouses and the two are never in contact again. Instead, divorce is permitted, but it is to occur twice. Allah says, "At-talaqu marratan fa imsakum bima'rufin aw tasrihum bi ihsan." The divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on reasonable terms or release her with kindness. In Islam, you get married on good, and if you are to leave each other, you leave each other on good. After the first or second divorce, the man is not permitted to expel the woman from the house until her waiting period is finished. In Islam, there's 3 divorces, as in the number which you have between you and your wife. You and your wife, you are allowed 3 divorces in your lifetime. Okay? There's the first, there's the second, then there's the third. After the first and the second, the man is not permitted to expel the woman from the house. She has to stay in the home until the waiting period, the iddah, is finished. In fact, she cannot leave the house. You, the man, cannot expel her, and she cannot choose to leave the house also. The purpose behind this is what? He says the purpose behind this is the hope that the anger that produced the divorce will vanish, and to encourage them to return to the way things were before. Look how beautiful Islam is. It does not say once you file the divorce papers, that's it. It's irrevocable, and he has to stay in his house, and she has to go somewhere. No. Islam says you have to stay together. If one of you leaves, you're actually committing sins. Allah says concerning the matter, يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة. O Prophet, when you divorce women, divorce them at their iddah, the prescribed periods, and count accurately their periods. واتقوا الله ربكم, and fear Allah your Lord. لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن, turn them not out of their husbands' homes, do not expel them from their husbands' homes. ولا يخرجن, nor shall they themselves, the women, leave the home. إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة, except in the case they are guilty of some open illegal sexual intercourse. وتلك حدود الله, and those are the set limits of Allah. ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه, and whosoever transgresses the set limits of Allah, then indeed he has wronged himself. لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا, you, the one who divorces his wife, you know not, it may be that Allah will afterward, after the divorce, bring something new to pass, meaning bring her back to you. So there's so many rulings here. In fact, to show how divorce is important in Islam, we have a whole chapter, a whole surah called Surah Al-Talaq. This is Surah Al-Talaq. A whole surah. It's called Surah Al-Talaq. To show how important it is. O Prophet, when you divorce women, divorce them at the prescribed periods. There's a certain time period, that's when you can divorce a woman. Other than that, you cannot divorce her at any time. You learn that. Next, أحصل العدة, and after you have divorced her, you have to count the waiting period properly. Third, واتقوا الله ربكم, fear Allah your Lord. Fourth, لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن, do not expel them out from their homes. ولا يخرجن, and they should not leave the women by themselves. You say, oh, you divorced me, I'm going back to my family. No. إلا أن يأتينا بفاحشة مبينة, except if the reason for divorce is because she was caught committing zina. There is proof, clear proof that she is guilty of that. Then, in that reason, she can be expelled from the house. But divorce for any other reason, she has to stay in the house. Another exemption is if the husband is abusive. She cannot stay in the same house. Now she has to leave that house. Okay? Allah says, لا تدري, you don't know. لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا. You never know. May Allah will bring something after that. Allah will bring new thoughts, new emotions. Allah will bring you back to what you were, and you take her back. But once she leaves the home, and you are staying alone, and she is alone, chances of you guys coming back together are, I'll be generous if I say 10%. I'm serious. 10%. But chances of you coming together if you're living alone are what? 90%. Yes. Or let's say 80. Let's be conservative. 80%. In other words, the husband may feel sorry that he divorced her, and Allah may put in his heart the desire to have her return to him, which will be simpler and easier. for everybody. Now the Sheikh is going to discuss the types of divorce with respect to the wording used. When we talk about divorce, to understand divorce in Islam, to understand it in a very well manner, we divide it into the words which are used, into the types of divorce in terms of the number, and other things. They also divide into the types of divorce which are the accepted divorce and the one which is not accepted. So he begins by saying the types of divorce with respect to the wording used, the words you use for the actual divorce. How is divorce done in Islam? Do you have to fill out a form and bring your SIM card and your photo ID? No. How is divorce done? How is divorce done? It says, with respect to the wording or expression used, divorce can be divided into two types. Explicit, which means what? Very clear, very clear. And figurative, something which is, it could be understood in another way. Something which could hold more than one meaning. That's what it means. Some words, they are very clear. I have divorced you. There is no chances of I meant no. I meant can we have dinner? It can never mean that. I divorce you means I divorce you. But something figurative is like I don't want to be with you. What do you mean you don't want to be with me? Right now, just for me to give you some time, I'll go in the kitchen. I'll go in the living room. Or you mean you want me to go to my parents' home for like a day? Or you mean you're divorcing me? It could mean all of that. So that's what he means. Okay? He says, explicit is that which is understood directly from the words being used and cannot imply anything else. Examples will include you are divorced and any other word that is derived from the word divorced. Now in Arabic, there's so many other derivatives basically. But in English, I don't know other than saying you are divorced. You can say you are cut off. Maybe she understands I'm cut off for one day. But you are divorced, there's no way. It's clear. Okay? He says, when an explicit word is used, divorce takes place, whether the person was joking or playing. Whether you're joking, you are playing, you are half serious, not serious, in Islam there's no playing in terms of divorce or joking. Abu Hurairah narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, ثلاث, three matters. جدهن, جد, وهزلهن, جد. Three matters that when said seriously, they are seriously, and when said jokingly, they are also taken seriously Islamically. Marriage, and we discussed this about marriage. You don't do a nikah with somebody and say, no, I was just joking, it was just a prank. There's no prank, she's your wife now. Or divorce. There's no pranking divorce, there's no joking in that. Or and returning to one's divorced wife. Taking her back. If she's divorced in the first and second divorce, taking her back. There's no joke. If you say, I take you back, she is your wife again. Okay, we'll take a small break and then come back, inshallah. Yes. Oh yeah, that is something which is well understood. But these things, people, they take them for granted. You know, that one is understandable if you say, okay, not joke and saying, I'm not a Muslim. No, that is a very bad joke. But these things, some people, they take them, they go past the limit of joking. Now, yeah, no, go ahead. the Sheikh will mention here, but the point is, any words you use and you intend by them divorce, she is divorced. Divorce happens. Any words. Even if you say get out, and you meant by get out, I don't want you, I divorce you, it is divorce. What counts is the intention. So if you're saying, I don't want you anymore in my life, what does that mean? What does it mean? It means it's over, right? But then it comes back to you, it could be understood you're just angry, you're saying that, or it could be like you're serious. And if you're serious, it means what? It means divorce. So it's your intention. It's your intention. There is, we are going to discuss that inshallah. So he says 3 matters, there's no joking about them in Islam. 1 is marriage, 2 is divorce, and 3 is taking back one's divorced wife. And another narration actually says freeing the slave. Freeing the slave. Saying to the slave, you are free, there's no joking in that. The times when there were slaves. So he says, now the figurative one is that which can imply divorce or something else. The words used can imply divorce or can imply something else. For example, one could say to one's wife, go back to your family. You say to her, go back to your family. It could mean what? It could mean, go back to your family for good, I don't want you anymore, right or wrong. Or it could mean, time out. Time out. Give me a break, let me think. So this is figurative. It comes back again to the intention, to the niyyah. In this case, divorce does not occur unless it was intended. If it was intended, then it is a divorce. But if it was not intended, it is not divorce. Aisha said, when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the daughter of Al-Jawn to consummate his marriage, he went to the daughter of, this is one of the women the Prophet ﷺ was married to. And when he went to meet her for the first night, she said, when the Prophet ﷺ entered, she said, and he was about to touch her, to remove the hijab, she said, A'udhu billahi mink, I seek refuge in Allah from you. That's what she said. He then said to her, so the Prophet ﷺ said to her, you have sought refuge in a great one. Go and rejoin your family. She said that, A'udhu billahi mink, I seek refuge with Allah from you. You only say that to somebody who you don't like, right? Or somebody who you're not comfortable with. So when she said that, the Prophet ﷺ said to her, you have sought refuge in the great one. Go back and rejoin your family. This go and rejoin your family, it was actually divorce. So you understand? So he intended, it's a divorce, so it's a divorce. In the hadith of Ka'b bin Malik, concerning when the Prophet ﷺ and his companions boycotted him for remaining behind the expedition to Tabuk, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ sent a message to him to separate from his wife. Ka'b bin Malik and the 2 others who didn't go to the battle of Tabuk, their story is mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah. وَعَلَى الثَّلَاثَةِ الَّذِينَ خُلِّفُوا. Beautiful story. Anyway, part of that story, the Prophet ﷺ, he told all the Muslims to boycott Ka'b bin Malik and the 2 other Sahabas did not go to fight. Then he said to them, even their wives should separate from them. When this news came to them, he said, should I divorce her or what should I do? The Prophet ﷺ is saying, tell your wife to go back to her family. Now again, it could be understood as she is divorced from you, or it could be understood as go to her family just for a time period. That's why he asked, should I divorce her or what should I do? The reply was, just separate from her and do not approach her. So he said to his wife, go and rejoin your family. So look, the Prophet ﷺ said the same words, go and rejoin your family, to that woman, and that was what? Divorce. Ka'b bin Malik said to his wife, go and rejoin your family. Was it divorce? It was not divorce. So it's the intention. You say to her, I don't want to see you anymore. What does that mean? And she goes crying back home. He says he doesn't want to see me anymore. She goes crying to the Imam. I don't know, am I divorced or not? It's 1 week, he hasn't called me. And the last thing he says, I don't want to see you anymore. So you understand now that if those are the words said, they are figurative. They can mean anything. She is not divorced, akhi, unless you go back to who now? The person who said those words, the husband, he is the one who knows why he said those words. If he intended divorce, it is divorce. If he intended, he was just angry, she should stay away from him for some time, it is not divorce. Now some people, they always say, you know, Sheikh, I intended divorce, but I was angry. And who divorces while smiling? You have to be angry. So that is not a reason. If you intended divorce, it is divorce. Now you see, that's from the beauty of Islamic Sharia also. That somebody could become angry and say those words and say, I'm fed up. I don't want you anymore. Meaning you intended divorce. Then you regret. If Islamic law was that once you divorce your wife, that's it. Imagine how many families will be broken today. A lot. Because this happens a lot. But once he rethinks, and once she rethinks, and she learns her mistake, and she says, I'm sorry, it is easy, he just says, I take you back. It's that easy. I take you back. Especially becomes more easy they're living in the same house. You see? That's the wisdom behind it. Do you have any questions on that? So that is the types of divorce according to the words used. The words used. Does it have to be in Arabic? It doesn't. What if you say it in a language which your wife does not understand? Let's say you speak Russian also, and she don't understand anything of Russian, and you say it in Russian, you are divorced. Is she divorced, or she has to understand what she's being told? Huh? But it's like talking to a wall. She don't know what she's being told. Maybe she thinks you gave her a compliment. Is she divorced or not? Is she? Is she? His intention was to divorce her. When he becomes angry, he speaks in Russian. That's how he is. When he becomes angry, he speaks in Russian. I know one brother here says, when I become angry, he's a Somalian brother, very good brother. But he grew up in Saudi Arabia. He says, when I become angry, I speak only in Arabic. So if he spoke Arabic to his wife who does not understand Arabic, and said, Anti taliq, you are divorced. Is she divorced or not? Or does she have to understand? Huh? Okay, what about in marriage? If somebody came and talked to her in Spanish, or Russian, that this guy wants to get married to you, and we're going to do the nikah right now. and they do the nikah, is that valid? Why not? Because she hasn't given her consent, she does not know what is going on. Okay, if that is not valid, does not happen. Now I'm asking you in divorce, does it happen? It happens? Very good. It is his intention. It is his intention. But of course, he has to let her know. Huh? Of course, he'll be angry or something. He has to let her know that that's what has happened. Next thing. Does it have to be said, or can it be written only? Just written, I divorce you, and that's it. It has to be said. Why? Does it have to be said? It doesn't. What if it's in another country? You tell me Skype. Okay, can it be through Skype? Yes, it can. It can be through text message. As long as there is affirmation and it's authentically affirmed that it's from you, then the divorce is passed. It can be through you sending somebody else. Maybe because you and your wife, you're very close and you cannot face her and say to her, I divorce you, for any reason. And you say to somebody else, you know what, I have been fighting with my wife and we've been trying to make a resolution, but it's not working, so please go tell her that she's divorced. That is also fine. It is like him saying it himself. You understand? It does not have to be directly from him to her. Yes? We will talk about that. That is coming, inshallah. Yes? Mm-hmm. That's why he said it has to be authentically affirmed that it is him. Okay, let me ask you now. Okay, somebody picks up your phone and writes a text to your wife, you are divorced. What would she do? Exactly. Where are you? Mm. Okay, let's talk realistically. Realistically, what are the chances of that happening? It does not happen. It does not happen. And where are you? You don't talk to your wife 2 weeks? Wow. You have to talk to your wife if you're away twice a day. Twice a day. That's my advice. So, is next. Do you have any more questions? That cannot happen, so we cannot answer that question. We cannot answer that question. Because even if it happens, she will call. She will find a way to get in contact with you. Yesterday you were chatting, you're very well, you're laughing on the phone. Now today is divorce. It's going to be strange. It does not mean that it's going to be divorce on America. The next topic, it says the types of divorce with respect to their conditionality. Divorce according to conditions. We'll discuss that after the break, inshallah. That's why you have to have a passcode for your phone. Lock your phone. Lock your phone, what? No, they should not get suspicious. The wife should not touch the phone of the husband. And the husband should not touch the phone of the wife. That's my personal opinion. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. But if you want to live a good life, try that. Your phone is your phone, her phone is her phone. Your email is your email, her email is her email. You agree with me? See how he's smiling and he's doing the head shake like. It's true. It's true. Yes. I don't know about that hadith, but I think it's a good move. And there's no problem if your wife looks at your phone. There's no problem. I'm not saying it's wrong, you know. But I think it's better if it stays private. I think that's what I think. That's what I think. But if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to hide. You have nothing to hide. You agree with me, right? 100%. Okay. Now he's discussing the types of divorce with respect to the conditionality. He says the wording of the divorce could imply immediacy or it could be conditional. Yani it's called divorce by condition. Divorce by condition. You can say the words, you are divorced, meaning now, right now. Or you could condition it. You could condition it. If you do this and that, then you are divorced. That is a condition. If this and that happens, then you are divorced. Okay? That is also possible and acceptable Islamically. He says, if it means immediacy, it means that he intends that the divorce takes place from the moment that he stated the divorce. This would be like the husband telling his wife, you are divorced, meaning now. The ruling concerning this type of divorce is that it takes place immediately upon the husband stating it. Right away she is divorced, she starts her iddah, her waiting period. As for the conditional divorce, this is where the husband lays down a condition upon making the pronouncement for divorce or of divorce. For example, he may say, if you go to such and such place, you are divorced. The ruling concerning this type of statement is that if the husband intended by that statement, a statement of divorce, then the divorce takes effect when the condition is met. He says, if you go to visit that friend of yours, and that friend of yours is not a good woman, then you are divorced. And he actually intends, because he's been talking to her for months or weeks, I don't want you to hang out with that woman, she's not a good woman. Now he's stepping down or putting down his foot and saying, if you go again, you are divorced. And he intends really divorce. Then if she actually goes, right away she is divorced. If he simply meant by, on the other side, if he simply meant by his statement a means of encouraging his wife to do something or to refrain from something, then it is simply an oath. If he did not intend divorce, he just intended it to discipline her, to make her refrain from that thing, not to do that thing, or to do something. He did not intend divorce, he just intended to warn her. Okay? What if she actually does that thing? She's not divorced because he didn't intend divorce. But now he has to break his oath. Because he made an oath. He made an oath. If the condition was not fulfilled, then nothing occurred and the husband does not have to do anything about his oath. However, if the condition is fulfilled, she actually does that thing, the husband must expiate for breaking an oath. And this is the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. And what is the expiation of breaking an oath? Like when you say, Wallahi, I will not go to this place. Then you actually go. Now you broke an oath. You have to expiate that oath. What is it? What is the kafara, the expiation now? You fast 3 days? Or it's not fasting 3 days on. No. There's stages to it. You are all getting there, but okay, that is your homework. You have to bring that answer after Maghrib. The types of divorce, so that is, you understood that. That is divorce on a condition. If you do this, you are divorced. If you actually intend a divorce, she is divorced. And this also happens a lot. If he did not intend divorce, it's not divorce, but he has to break the oath. The question is the expiation of an oath. Like when you say, Wallahi, I will do this and that. And then you don't do it. Now you have to expiate the oath. Kafara. Kafara to ayman. It's the kafara of the ayman. It is in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Next, the types of divorce with respect to if it is done according to the sunnah or in a bid'ah manner. There is talaq al-sunniyya, talaq al-bid'iyya. There's talaq, the divorce in the sunnah manner, and the divorce in the bid'ah manner, innovational manner. Meaning it's not according to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you have that already? Yes, what is it? Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 89. It says, فَكَفَّارَةُ إِطْعَامُ عَشْرَةُ مَسَاكِينَ. The expiation of an oath is to feed 10 poor people. To feed them a whole meal. Yani, I don't know what you call a whole meal, like let's say a plate of biryani. It is enough for somebody, one person to eat and be full. There is 10 of those. 10 different people, you feed them. You can feed them at one time, is okay. So you feed 10 poor people. That is the kafara. Min awsati ma tut'imuna ahlikum. The same type of food which you feed your family. Aw kiswatuhum. Or to buy them clothes. 10 poor people. Or tahrir raqaba, or to free a slave, which today is impossible. So, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ, the one who does not or cannot do one of those things, he cannot feed 10 poor people, he cannot clothe 10 poor people, he cannot free a slave. If you cannot, these three are the choice. You pick one. What is easier? If you cannot do any of these three, then you go to the next stage, which is what? فَصِيَامُ, for him to fast 3 days. ذَلِكَ كَفَّارَةُ أَيْمَانِكُمْ إِذَا حَلَفْتُمْ وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ. That is the kafara, expiation of your oaths when you make an oath. And preserve your oaths, Allah says. Okay? So that is the kafara of the oath. Surah Al-Ma'idah 89. Next, the types of divorce with respect if it's done in the sunnah way or in the innovational manner. Divorce is also divided into the divorce done according to the sunnah and the divorce done in an innovational manner. The divorce done according to the sunnah is wherein the husband divorces his wife with whom he had consummated the marriage one time during a time of a purity, concerning which the two did not have sexual relations. Allah says, At-talaqu marratan, divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on reasonable terms or release her with kindness. And Allah also says, O Prophet, when you divorce women, divorce them at their iddah. The Prophet ﷺ explained this verse when Ibn Umar divorced his wife while she was menstruating. It says, the divorce according to the sunnah. What does it mean? It means, again I repeat, you have to divorce her. She has to be divorced in a time of purity, meaning not when she's having her periods. That is one. Not when she's having her periods. Two, even if she's not in her periods. Let's say she finished her periods on Sunday. Her periods were, like, say, 1 week, Sunday to Sunday. That Sunday, from, let's say, 10th to 17th of June. 10th to 17th of June, you cannot divorce your wife, no matter how angry she makes you. That divorce is not the sunnah divorce, that's the bid'ah divorce. A woman is not to be divorced while she is menstruating. Okay? Number two, she becomes clean on Monday. You can now divorce her on Monday or Tuesday up until her next period when she is clean. But in this time when she is clean, let's say she became clean on Monday, and Monday you slept with her, you guys slept together, you had intercourse. You cannot divorce her on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. You cannot. You cannot divorce her in the time of purity when you actually had slept with her. You have to wait until she gets her period again. Of course, and you cannot divorce her when she's in her periods. Then when she becomes clean, that's when you divorce her. You thought divorcing a woman is easy? Islam says keep her. Keep her. That's the wisdom behind it. That's the wisdom. Allah wants the family to stay together. Is it clear though? Or should I repeat? You cannot divorce the woman while she's in her periods. So let's say she gets her period from 10th to 17th. Okay, then from 17th to 10th of next month, she is clean. Right? She is clean. In this time of purity, if you did not sleep with her even one time, then you can divorce her any day if you want to divorce her. But if you slept with her in any of these days, from 17th to 10th of next month, then you cannot divorce her. You have to wait until she gets her period. After her period, then you can divorce her, before touching her, before having sex with her again. Otherwise, if you do that, it's called the talaq al-bid'iyya. That's the talaq of bid'ah, innovational talaq. It's not the talaq of the sunnah. He says, the Prophet ﷺ explained this verse when Ibn Umar divorced his wife while she was menstruating. Umar ibn Khattab, and you know who Umar ibn Khattab is, the second greatest man after the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ said, if there was to be a prophet after me, it would have been Umar. He asked the Prophet ﷺ about that. He says, Abdullah, my son, Abdullah ibn Umar, he divorced his wife while she was menstruating. So the Prophet ﷺ replied, order him to take her back and then to keep her until she becomes pure, has her menses again, and then becomes pure. Then if he wills, he may keep her afterwards, or he may divorce her before he touches her. That is the period of which Allah has ordered women to be divorced. We'll take a break and then come back, inshallah. Is it clear, by the way? It's clear? You have any questions? No questions. Good. So this is the talaq according to the sunnah. And if somebody actually did that, as you seen, like Abdullah ibn Umar, he divorced his wife while she in her periods. He has to be commanded to take her back. And she stays with him now until she finishes her period. Then she becomes clean. And when she gets her period again and becomes clean, now he can divorce her. He's going to mention this. Now, an innovational divorce is any divorce that contradicts what is legally sanctioned, such as divorcing one's wife while she is having her menses, or during a period of purity in which the two had sexual relations, or to state three divorces in one setting, such as you saying you are divorced 3 times, such as you saying you are divorced 3 times, you are divorced, you are divorced, you are divorced. That is also a bid'ah, innovational. It's not the way of it's not the right way basically. The right way, even if you say 3 times, like I said before, if you say 10 times, it's just one. It's just one. This kind of divorce is forbidden, and the one who does it is a sinner. If he divorces her while she is menstruating now, let's say we go back to the first situation. He divorces her while she is menstruating. Even though he's been commanded, like we saw, he has to take her back and wait again. She becomes clean and then gets divorced again. When she becomes clean, now he divorces her. But does that divorce actually count or not? The Shaykh says if he divorces her while she's menstruating, the divorce has taken place. It does take place. It is counted. But he has committed sins and he has done it in the wrong way. That's why he has to take her back and live with her more. Because now he has to wait until she becomes clean. Then she gets her period. Once her period finishes, now he can actually say the divorce. Even though that one also counts, it's the same one. It's the same one. But because you did it in the wrong way, you're doing something in its wrong time. No, you cannot say it does not count. You're doing it in the wrong time. It does count, but you have to do it in the right way also. So you're actually holding her for that time also. He says, if she's qualified to be taken back, she is to be taken back until she becomes pure again, has her menses again, and then becomes pure again. At that time, he may keep her as a wife or he may divorce her before touching her. This is how the Prophet ﷺ ordered Ibn Umar to behave. The proof that such a divorce does occur is in what Bukhari recorded from Sa'id bin Jubair from the same Ibn Umar, who said it was considered one divorce upon me. Do you understand? He says, listen to the explanation again. Ibn Hajar now says, this hadith basically said here now, Ibn Umar, the person whom this event or this occurrence took place about, he was the person who divorced his wife while menstruating. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ did not say anything about did it count or not. He just said, tell him to take her back and wait until she becomes clean. Then she gets her periods again. Then when she becomes clean, now he can divorce her before touching her, meaning having sex with her. Now Ibn Umar, in this other hadith, he says, it was actually counted as one divorce. It was counted as one divorce. Ibn Hajar said, page 441, it was the Prophet ﷺ who ordered Ibn Umar to take his wife back. And it was he who instructed him what to do afterwards if he wanted to divorce her. When Ibn Umar reports that it was considered divorce on his part, the possibility that it was other than the Prophet ﷺ himself who made this conclusion is very distant, especially in the light of the circumstantial evidence in this story. How can it be imagined that Ibn Umar would do anything concerning this incident according to his own personal opinion, while he was the one who narrated the Prophet ﷺ was unhappy about his actions? How could he not seek his consultation concerning what to do about this incident? He further wrote, Ibn Wahb in his Musnad recorded from Ibn Abi Dhi'b that An-Nafi' informed him that Ibn Umar divorced his wife while she was menstruating. Umar then asked the Messenger of Allah ﷺ about that. He said, order him to take her back and then remain with her until she becomes pure. Ibn Abi Dhi'b, he said in this hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, it is one divorce. Ibn Abi Dhi'b said, Hanzala ibn Abi Sufyan informed me that he heard Salim narrate this statement from his father from the Prophet ﷺ. Ad-Daraqutni recorded the chain of Yazid bin Harun from Ibn Abi Dhi'b and Ibn Ishaq, together on the authority of Nafi' from Ibn Umar. He said it is one divorce. this text is concerning this controversial issue must be followed. So basically, even though you are sinning in doing that, it's sinful. You're not supposed to divorce her while she's in a period. It does count. It does count. And she has to stay with you until she finishes the period. Then she becomes clean. And you don't touch her. Then she gets her period again, another period. Now when she becomes clean, you can either take her back if it's the first 2 divorces, or now you can say you are divorced and she's divorced. And it will be the second time. Or if it was 2, it will be the third time. But that one counts also. It counts. If it was the last time, it's the last time. He has to take her back. Like he has to stay with her for that period and then say it there again, you are divorced. You see, the mistake is you saying it in the wrong time. That's the problem. You're saying it in the wrong time. So you wait until the right time and you say it again. But now you cannot take her back. But if it was one of the first 2 divorces, when she becomes clean, if you really want to divorce her, you say again you are divorced. Or if you don't want to divorce her, you say what? I take you back, you're my wife. Now the issue of 3 divorces, which is very common. If a husband divorces his wife thrice in one sentence, or thrice in one setting, it is in fact only one divorce. It is in fact only one divorce. Muslim recorded that Ibn Abbas said, during the time of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr, when he was the leader, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the first 2 years of Umar, when Umar was the leader, 3 divorces stated at once was considered only one divorce. During the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the time of Abu Bakr, and the first 2 years of Umar's Khilafah, it was just one divorce, even if you say 3 times. If you say you are divorced, it's just one. Umar ibn Khattab then said, the people are making haste in a matter that should take time for them. Maybe we should enforce this upon them to teach them a lesson. So he then enforced this upon them. Umar then declared, if you say to your wife you're divorced 3 times, she is divorced 3 times, you cannot take her back. Because people are misusing divorce and being so rash. Being rash and being haste. Okay? So Umar said, if you do it 3 times, it is 3 times, you cannot take her back. So he then enforced this upon them. This opinion from Umar was his own personal legal reasoning, which he felt was permissible due to a specific benefit he was seeking to achieve. He was seeking to achieve what from that? People staying away from breaking up their families and causing problems easily. And people use that to threaten their wives. I'll give you 3 divorces. Because she knows if she's given 3 divorces, then there's no coming back. So Umar said, no, we will teach these kind of men who do this a lesson. If you actually say it, even though it does not count, I as the leader will enforce it that you cannot take her back. So he did that from his personal opinion, of which he felt permissible due to a specific benefit he was seeking to achieve. However, it is not allowed to abandon what the Messenger of Allah ﷺ ruled and what his companions were following during his time and during the time of his successor Abu Bakr. So after Umar, people went back to this opinion, even though it took a lot of time. Most of the madhabs until today, if you say 3 times, it is 3 times. Okay? Any questions on that? Yes. It does not matter. As long as she is not in her period, and as long as it's not during the period when they had intercourse, then she can ask for divorce. Or she can ask divorce even that time. But they have to wait until after that time. They have to wait. Even if he thought of giving her divorce, he can have the intention of divorcing her, but he cannot do it during that time. It's an act which has a prescribed time to it. Just like right now, you cannot decide, I want to fast Ramadan right now. You can't, because it has its specific time. Yes. Wallahi, I don't know. What is the hikmah behind it? It could be. It could be because when a woman is menstruating, when she's not, she's usually emotional. You know? Right, it's true. She's usually emotional, and the emotions are running high, it's easier for problems to happen. You cannot blame her for that. That is not something which she has any control on. It could be that. Allahu A'lam, it could be that. It could be that. Or it could be that the other part, that you cannot divorce her in a purity when you had intercourse with her. It could come out as a way of demeaning the woman. That you just slept with her yesterday, now you're leaving her. Like, that is not how you treat somebody you actually care for. It could be that's the reason. It could be that's the reason. Lakin Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. We have to stop here and then we'll continue next time, inshaAllah. Was that the last one? You have a question? What about divorce if she's expecting? She's expecting what? A child. I'm just joking. It does happen. I thought you said when she's expecting, means she's expecting a divorce. That's the right time, actually. Divorce her. It does happen, though. I'm joking with you. He knows me well. He knows my jokes. I know some of you, you think I'm very, what is the word? Okay, just forget it. Okay, let's do another half an hour because we have to finish today. We have to finish today. We can do half an hour. What? No, you can. I said we can. You can. It's allowed. It's allowed. Again, with the same conditions. With the same conditions. But now there's a difficulty. Actually, let me do that while recording, because of greater benefit, so we have it on tape also. You ask that, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu ba'd. We are continuing with the matters of divorce. Next, he says, from the types of divorce. We just finished talking about the divorce, which is the sunnah divorce, the prescribed one, and the divorce in the innovational way, which is not allowed. Now, the next one, he says the types of divorce with respect to being revocable or irrevocable. Now, you had a question. What was the question? Does divorce take place if the woman is expecting, if she is pregnant? The divorce takes place if she is expecting. But now there's a difficulty here. Usually, when a woman is pregnant, she does not get her periods. Usually. Only 0.1% of women get their periods while they are pregnant. 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 in fact. It is possible, it happens. So how do you determine? How do you determine? Oh, that's a problem. But divorce does happen if she is pregnant. But then again, she'll stay for her waiting period. And this will come when we talk about waiting period. How long is her waiting period? Again, 3 months? Or until she gives birth? This will be seen. The waiting period for the woman, just for benefit, is until she gives birth. But if she's in the early stage of pregnancy, she's 2 months pregnant, does she have to stay 7 months waiting in her waiting period? No. She stays for the 3 months. But if she was 2 weeks before she gave birth, her waiting period is the 2 weeks. Once she gives birth, that's it. But in the former situation, when she stays 3 months, after 3 months, now she is a free woman. She's not longer your wife. You're no longer her husband. Can she get married now? No, she cannot get. A pregnant woman cannot get married. She cannot get married. How would she get married when she's carrying somebody's baby already? It's logically, any human being cannot accept that. Any human being cannot accept that. She has to deliver his baby first, then get married to somebody else. But can he take her back? Yes, she can get married to him. She can get married to him because that's her husband and that's his baby. But anybody else, no. You understand? Now. So now we're talking about the types of divorce with respect to being revocable or irrevocable. Revocable meaning you can take it back. Or irrevocable, you cannot take it back. He said, divorce is either revocable or irrevocable. If it is irrevocable, it is either the greater irrevocable divorce or the lesser irrevocable divorce. There's 2 types. The revocable divorce is easy. Is that divorce which takes place after the marriage has been consummated. Consummated meaning you actually slept with her and she slept with you and you had intercourse. If they actually had intercourse, that's what you call consummation of the marriage. The revocable divorce is that divorce which takes place after the marriage has been consummated. And the marriage was not in exchange for wealth and is preceded by no or only one divorce. The revocable divorce is after one divorce or is after the first divorce, not after the second, meaning this is not the third divorce. After divorce 3 times, there's no taking back. It's not revocable. Okay? Allah has said, At-talaqu marratan, divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on reasonable terms, you stay with her on reasonable terms, or you release her with kindness. The woman who is revocably divorced remains the man's wife as long as she is in her waiting period. In those 3 months she is in a waiting period, she is his wife still, fully. That's why she has to stay in that house also. Her husband has the right to return her as his wife at any time during the waiting period. Without her consent or that of a guardian, bring a precondition. Anytime he can take her back. Because it's his wife. He does not have to go and propose. He does not have to go ask permission to the father. Can I take back your wife? No. Can I take back your daughter? No. She is still his wife. Allah says, وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ تَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ وَلَا يَحِلُّ لَهُنَّ يَكْتُمْنَ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ فِي أَرْحَامِهِنَّ إِن كُنَّ يُؤْمِنَّ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَبُعُولَتُهُنَّ أَحَقُّ بِرَدِّهِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ إِنْ أَرَادُوا إِصْلَاحًا. And divorced women shall wait as regards to their marriage for 3 menstrual periods. And it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs. Meaning if she's pregnant, she cannot hide that. She has to tell that husband of hers that I am actually pregnant. If they believe in Allah on the last day, and their husbands have the better right to take them back in that period, if they wish for reconciliation. Both of them agree, then he has more right. Meaning if somebody else comes and wants to get married to her, he has more right. In fact, she's still his wife. Now here comes something, even though the Shaykh will discuss this, the waiting period. He'll discuss the waiting period. It says here, ثلاثة قروء. She should wait for 3 menstrual periods. Is it just 3 periods or 3 months? This will come. Because the periods, some women, they have their periods quickly. Every 15 days maybe. So she does not have to wait for 3 months. She's waiting 1.5 months, in fact. Is that correct? Or does it have to be 3 months? We will get there, inshallah. Next, so this is the types of divorce. So the first divorce, she remains for the waiting period in the home. She does not go out. He should not expel her. They live as a family. Except that they don't have intercourse. They don't have intercourse. That's the first divorce. If during the waiting period he went back to his mind, or she said I'm sorry and he said I'm sorry, and they reconciled, then he says I take you back as my wife, and now they are husband and wife again, fully. She's not temporary. If it happens second time, another divorce, let's say a month later, or 2 months, 3, 4, 10 years later, same thing. She stays the waiting period. He can take her back. If they reconcile, he takes her back. She is his wife. If it happens a third time now he cannot take her back. She stays on the waiting period, and the waiting period ends. She has to move, not just move. She cannot get married to him anyway. Even if he comes and proposes, she cannot get married to him after the third divorce. She has to do what? She has to be married to somebody else. And then we suppose something happened, and she has to sleep with him, not just getting married to him. And let's say after something happened between them, now she's a free woman again. Now she can get divorced, and he can get divorced to her, the first husband. Why does Islam keep these laws? Why does it not just say, why 3? Why does it make it infinite? You can divorce her, take her back, and divorce her, take her back, and divorce her, take her back. Isn't that better? It's not? Why not? Very good. This is what they used to do in Jahiliyyah, before Islam. The Arabs, this is what they used to do. When somebody wants to torture his wife, he says you're divorced. When she's just about, because they had Iddah also, the Arabs before Jahiliyyah. When she's just about to finish Iddah, they says I take you back. And he doesn't live with her, he doesn't treat her well or anything. Then she asks for another divorce, says, okay, you're divorced. When she's just about to finish, she says, I take you back. And they would go on like that, and the woman would be suffering. And she has no way. Islam came and said, you have 2 chances, buddy. Or both of you. Once those chances are gone, it's done. She has to move on, you have to move on. This makes you makes you act in a wise way, and it makes you be very cautious. Because if you don't really want to lose your wife, then control your anger, and she should control her anger. Next, the Shaykh, he discusses al-khul'a. Al-khul'a. So that was talaq, divorce. That was talaq. Do we have any more questions on talaq, divorce? Yes. Yes, in the first divorce, let's say they waited and after the 3 periods, he did not take her back. After the 3rd period, she is no longer his wife. She has to move out. Or if he is moving out, he is moving out. And they are strangers. They are strangers, complete strangers. They are not married. They are not married. Unless they have children, that's the only tie between them. He cannot seclude himself with her or be walking with her in the park or no. Now he has to do what? If he still wants to get back to her, she wants to get back to him, he has to go and propose again. And there's a new dowry. There has to be 2 witnesses. The guardian has to give permission. She has to give her consent. There has to be 2 witnesses. And we do a new nikah. And a new walima. And a new walima, of course, yes. It's a new marriage. It's a completely new wedding. And we also went through the ayah which said that if he comes and she's approving, they want to get back. In this situation where the iddah ended, the wali, the father, should not say, no, I gave her to you and you mistreated her and you divorced her, and I'll never get her married to you. You remember the story of Ma'aqal ibn Yasar, when he said that about his sister, and Allah revealed the verse, وَلَا تَعْذُلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنْكِحْنَ زُوَاجَهُنَّ. Do not stop them from marrying their previous husbands if they want to. He has more right than any other man. Okay, we have to take a break and come back, inshallah. Yes. Let us record those questions. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we have finished the divorce and we have questions on divorce. Naam, Muhammad. He divorced his wife and her 3 periods have passed. He needs to make a new contract to get married to her, yes. Yes, the number of divorces left now is 2. That one, it counts. It counts. You're only allowed 3 divorces with one man or with one woman in a lifetime. If you finish those 3 divorces, she has to get married to somebody else, you have to get married to somebody else. If it happens, she got divorced, now you get married to her, now you start again, another 3. But between the 2 of you is only 3. Once the 3rd finishes, that's it. So if you divorce her, then you took her back during the waiting period. The waiting period did not end. You took her back after a week. That one still counts. It's 1. 1 is gone already. 1 is gone already. Or even if you waited until the wedding period finished and you got married to her again after the first divorce, that one still counts. That one counts. That one counts. Now, We said it's about intention. So if somebody says, I divorce you, but he did not intend it, what did he intend? What was his intention? He was so angry he said it. What did he intend? What was his intention? So when you say anger, we said here before, nobody is going to divorce when he's having a smile on his face. At least, that's how it goes. But if somebody is one of those people, and they do exist, when they become angry, they lose their minds. They lose their minds. If he's one of those people who says things which now make sense, when 2 minutes later, when you say to him, you know what you said this and that, he says, no, I didn't say that. If he's one of those people, then divorce does not count, because his anger overtook him. He doesn't know what he's saying. But if he said because he's angry, but he knows what he's saying, he is divorced. And of course, then you're going to regret. You're going to regret, because you love her, right? You love her. Don't you love her? You love her so much. You're going to regret. That regret does not mean, oh, Sheikh, I was angry. Yes, I know you are angry, but you said she's divorced. She is divorced. So you see the difference? Somebody got drunk, then came and said to his wife, you are divorced. Does it count or not? He is drunk, like drunk. Not like just a bit. He is really drunk. He is not in his right senses. Somebody, he talks while sleeping. What do they call him? Sleep talker? There's nothing like sleep talker, guys. Come on. There's a sleepwalker. And during his sleep, he said those words. And it happened that his wife was actually reading a book. She was not sleeping. And she hears him, says, you know what? And she calls him by her name, actually. I don't know, Fatima, you are divorced. And miskin, her heart broke. But he is actually sleeping. Does that divorce count? It doesn't count. It doesn't count. You understand? It doesn't count. You have these smartphones today. They have something called autocomplete. When you type a word, it completes by itself. It happened somehow. You wanted to say, I love you. But you missed the L, you went to the D. And you missed the O, you went to the I. And it completed divorce. And it says, I divorce you. And you sent it. Is she divorced? She's not, because your intention was not that. It was a sincere mistake. Now, autocomplete is one of the good things they have ever invented. You understand me? You understand my point, though? Somebody is learning a new language, Russian. He's learning Russian. And somebody tricked him. He says, you know what, today I'm going back home, I want to speak to my wife in Russian. How do I say I love you in Russian? And this guy, he says, he gives him the words of, I divorce you, in fact. And he goes home and says to her, in Russian, I divorce you. He actually thinks he's saying, I love you. Is she divorced? She's not divorced. So the intention, it counts a lot. You get it? Now, yes. Allah, that's a very difficult question, and it's been asked so many times. I don't know, Allah. Those people who they forge papers and write, I divorced my wife, but actually he did not divorce his wife. Just that he can do something else, whatever he's doing. Does that divorce count or not? It is very scary. If divorce by joking, it counts. I don't know. Allah, I don't know. I cannot say it counts or not. Allahu A'lam. I don't know. Naam. Yes. That does not count. If somebody makes a condition which is unnatural, unrealistic, unrealistic. If he says, if it doesn't snow tomorrow and we're in summer, it's July, it's June, June 27th. If he says, if it doesn't snow tomorrow, I divorce you. That is, it doesn't count, it doesn't help. If he says, like you saying, he says to her, you are pregnant this time, if you don't deliver a son for me, if it's another daughter, I divorce you. That is, it's not acceptable. It has to be realistic. It has to be something realistic. Something realistic. Don't go to this place. Don't talk to this person. Don't do this. Don't miss your salah anymore. If you miss your salah, then I divorce you. Things like things which are related to her. Now, yes. Doing the iddah? Like how? During the waiting period, can you put conditions? You say, so the wife says to the husband, I will accept coming back or you taking me back if you do this and that. If it's something again realistic, acceptable, then it's okay. If he accepts it, it's okay. Yes. If there's a people who are ignorant of what Islam says about these rulings, and he actually divorced her 3 times without knowingly, he divorced her 3 times, but he does not know the rules that after 3 times they are actually separate and he cannot take her back, and they actually takes her back and they are sleeping together and all that. If they're ignorant, they're ignorant. If they're ignorant, they are ignorant. They are ignorant, but I'll say, they are excused for that part. But are they excused for being ignorant? In this age where the books are available anywhere, everywhere, the lectures are open for everybody? Allahu A'lam. Naam. If during the iddah, we'll talk about the iddah, by the way. All these questions will come. If he wants to take her back and she refuses, what happens? We'll talk about that. It's going to come, inshallah. This will come. The question on the waiting period. If he does not say, take you back, but they sleep together, what happens? This will come, inshallah. About what? I don't understand your question. About what? About what specifically you're asking? It happens when you say it one time. When you say to your wife you're divorced, she's divorced. One time only. In what conditions are? It happens also when she's pregnant. We said that. You mean when it's said 3 times? That's what your question is. If he says it 3 times, you're divorced, you're divorced, you're divorced. It's only one. It's only one, and that is what the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr, they were upon, and the other Sahaba. That is the correct opinion. It doesn't matter what madhab says what. We have learnt that. What is to be followed is what the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba they did. Not a madhab. And which is better for the Muslims? Which is better? You tell me. Which is better? Obviously. If it's one, it's one. It's the first, it's the first. Even if you say it a million times, it's just one. We have to stop here and then we'll continue inshallah next time. Yes, you have more questions? No, it's for the woman. It's for the woman. You can get married while you are married with her, right? You have 4 spots. You're married to her, you have 3 spots left. If you get married to her, you have 2 spots left. Right or wrong? You are allowed to get married to 4 wives. So it doesn't matter if it's her or anybody else. But she cannot get married to more than you. Once you have divorced her 3 times, she has to get married to somebody else. Not you though. If you are married already. If you are married already. Yes. And even if you're not married, you're just married to her, it's okay. Can a woman divorce her husband? How? How can the woman divorce her husband? I don't understand. How? Like she's the one who says you are divorced? No. If the divorce was left in the hands of the women, all of us will be divorced. No expectation, no exceptions, sorry. No exceptions. All of us will be divorced today. Then she'll take you back after 15 minutes. I'm serious. That's the nature of the woman. That's why Allah put that in the hands of the man. Because the woman is more emotional. And when it comes to things that are emotional, she doesn't think straight. That's the nature of the woman. It's not like to degrade the woman or anything. That's the nature of the woman. And the women, they agree themselves. That's the nature of the woman. And when she gets a period, she becomes more sensitive and she's irritated easily. And you'll be divorced a million times. Every week you're divorced. That's why Allah puts the divorce in the hands of the man. But the woman has the right to seek divorce. She has the right to ask for divorce completely. And that's what makes Islam stand out from the other religions. A woman has the right to divorce. She can ask divorce or she can even file for divorce Islamically, which is called khula'. That's the next chapter we're going to talk about. That's the next chapter we'll talk about after Maghrib, inshallah. Yes. He says in some countries like Egypt, a woman has the right that she can divorce. He said what? She requests a condition in the beginning of the marriage that she has the right to divorce herself. A'udhu billah. How does that work? So any day she decides, she says, Ma salam, I'm gone. You cannot set a condition which goes against the law of Allah. It's not allowed. The Prophet ﷺ said, any condition which goes against the book of Allah and the law of His Messenger, then it is batil. It's not to be applied. It's not to be applied. How can a woman set that condition to divorce herself? What does that mean actually? It means, like I told you, any day she feels like going, she'll be gone. And does she also have the right to take herself back? Or who takes her back? Huh? You see the complication? It doesn't take the authority away from the man, but she also has that same authority. That's what they mean. Asking something else. The woman has the right to ask for divorce. And we'll see that. We'll see after Maghrib, we'll discuss that. She has the right to ask for divorce. And again, that's one of the things which makes Islam stand out from the other religions. The other religions like Christianity, in fact in Christianity, a woman who's divorced is not to be married again. And whoever marries a woman who is a divorcee, he is considered someone who's committing zina. That's what the Bible says. What's her sin? What did she commit? What is her sin? They say the only time you can divorce a woman if she's actually caught committing fornication. Unsensible. Anyway, yes, last question. Last question. Yes. What do you mean, akhi? Be specific. I don't get your question. Can we close that door, please? In Canada, they give rights to women. Yes. Islam also gives rights to women. A lot. Divorce rights. Yes, she can file for divorce. Yes. Islamically it's wrong. Islamically you cannot, not just Islamically, anybody with a proper mindset and a proper logic, anybody who has values, any human being, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, he cannot accept that. Those are laws which don't make sense. But that happens to be a law of this country you live in. So what is your question though? You have to follow in what sense? What do you mean follow? So you're saying, okay, let me translate it for you. If I'm wrong, you'll tell me. You're trying to tell me if your wife says, or somebody's wife says to him tomorrow or tonight, don't come to the bedroom, what should he do? That's your question? Why do you want that woman, akhi? Get rid of her. And I'm sorry to sound like that, but get rid of her. A woman who can act like that in your house and treat you like you are nobody? What kind of a woman with a proper brain does that, first of all? Again, irregardless of her religion, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, whatever. Anybody with senses, and she knows this is the man who's my husband, and I spent time with him, and years, and we have children, and can she ever do that? She can only do that if she's a wicked woman, someone who's evil. Why would you want to keep her? Why would you want to keep that kind of a woman? Again, we're not even talking about Islamically. Just as human beings who have values. and respect for each other. So what are you supposed to do? Don't act ignorantly or arrogantly. She threatens you. Like some of the women, it's very sad. Muslim women, they threaten their husbands. I'll call 911. It's sad, very sad. Very, very sad. Once you lift that phone and you dial, you know how it happens? He is in trouble for the rest of his life. That charge will never be arrested, even if there's nothing. These days, the new law, even if nothing happened, if they come, he has to leave the house and all that other stuff which happens after that. Who will do that? Somebody with proper iman would do that? I think no. I say no. So what are you supposed to do? Akhi, she wants to call the police, want to make problems? Pack your bags, kiss your children goodbye, and leave. And Allah knows your intention. Allah knows your intention. The Prophet ﷺ says, the one who leaves something. Take hold of your child, please. We are trying to learn here. Where's the father? Akhi, min fadlik, please, please. After you finish, you can play. You understand me? Take your bags and leave, akhi. The one who leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah will give him something better. That's what the Prophet ﷺ says. You left her, you know you never did any wrong to her. She's the one who's acting like a shaitana. Leave her, and Allah will bring you somebody else. That is my opinion. You don't have to agree in any way. You don't have to agree. But if you ask me for advice, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'll give you the same advice. And again, we're speaking generally. We are speaking generally. And every situation has its answer. Don't take this general answer and go and apply it in your life. You understand? Okay. Yes, sister. Okay. It's what? Uh-huh. You're saying if she's busy in the house and she gets tired, she takes off the babies and all that, and then the husband comes home at night and he wants to sleep with her and she refuses, then this is understandable. Him as a husband, he has to understand that also. She is tired, she's had a long day, okay, it's understandable. But he is talking about calling the police on him. It's a different question. I hope you understand that, right? It's a different question. If that's the case for 1 day or 2 days, it's fine, it's understandable. You have to understand him, he has to understand you. That's understandable. Okay? She doesn't have any sins if she does that. The husband has to understand. The husband has to understand that. Is it a valid condition for divorce if the husband says that he will divorce his wife if she doesn't accept a proposal? I don't understand. A proposal for what? Is it a valid condition for divorce if the husband says that he will divorce his wife if she doesn't accept a proposal? New proposal for what? She's married. Huh? If she doesn't accept a proposal, not if he doesn't accept. Now let the person who wrote the question clarify. Somebody should clarify that question. Okay, we have to stop, prepare for Maghrib. We will come back after Maghrib, inshallah, and finish off.